Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, an authentic football fan channel made in Manchester. My light's falling over as I'm speaking. Manchester United have had their Christmas cancelled. So Jim Ratcliffe has cancelled Christmas, not for everyone, but definitely for the staff members. And if you're wondering, who this gentleman is behind me, if for anyone who's seen Muppets Christmas Carol, that might be Ebenezer Scrooge. Or for anyone who's seen Sir Jim Ratcliffe, take your pick. It's either one. That is Sir Jim this year. Now, the topics on the table, we're going to discuss that party being cancelled and amongst a load of other things. I've not really had a chance to speak to Sam yet about quite a lot of stuff that's ongoing. So we'll discuss that. We'll discuss the new fresh reports about a new sporting director already. I mean, Dan Ashworth's hardly out the fucking door yet, but they're still talking about that. And we've got little bits on transfer news regarding Alphonso Davies and Konrad Laimer. But we'll save that towards the end. So if you are tuned in, leave a like on the video for us and subscribe to the channel. But yeah, the reports coming out earlier on today, Sam. Man United have cancelled their funded Christmas party. Club staff have been left disappointed. This comes amid growing tensions after recent internal changes. But obviously, it's not just this. We've seen changes with the ticket prices. We've seen cuts to the disabled section. We've seen cuts left, right, and centre. Not going down well with the fan base, is it?
No, they just seem to be making terrible decision after terrible decision as of late. We had the unfortunate the layoffs of 250 people, I believe, who were made redundant in order to save money. Yet we have players who are on 300 grand a week and they're not performing, but they're not an issue apparently. We're going to put £66 for concessions and kids to come to United. So if you're a dad and you've got a kid, it's going to cost you 134 quid to come and watch United for the two of you, which is insane when you think about it. Imagine doing that every week. Like, it's just not possible, is it? Like, especially with certain economy and people are talking about. I got United stand on the way to the game on a Saturday. I read the Sir Jim interview with Andy Mitten. If you haven't read it, anybody go read it. It's fantastic. And he was basically saying that, why should Fulham cost more than we are? And it's just like Andy Mitten sort of rightly shouted back, well, Fulham is a very wealthy area in London, whereas Manchester is a working class area. Old Trafford is a very working class area. Many people cannot afford this. So it's a very sort of shit argument, in my opinion. And Andy Mitten rightly pulled him up on it. There was the cuts last year, weren't they? They used to get free tickets to finals and stuff like that. They got rid of that. I can't imagine that saved that much money, to be honest with you. Do you know what I mean? Like, come on.
Exactly.
Apparently this ticket thing would raise up to £1 million this season. It's like, that's fuck all. That's not even a player. That's not a player's wages for a month. Not even that. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, it's stupid cuts. And again, fans are paying for it. And now you're going to have more money coming out of the club because you hired Dan Ashworth on, what was it, 2 million we paid for him?
Yeah.
And now he's gone. So I imagine we're going to have to pay compensation out for that as well. Like, pay his contract out. We've paid out Ten Hag's contract and then paid Ruben Amorim as well for that. So it's just like, how much money is coming out of the club? And yet again, we're going to pay for it. It's a continuation of like really shit, boneheaded and very deftone decisions for Sir Jim Ratcliffe. And it just tells you again, billionaires, they're not in touch with real people. They're not real people. They don't exist in our world. Like, they just don't get it. Like, they don't understand it. And for people who are thinking he was going to change things for the good, they're probably rethinking things a lot right now.
Yeah, I do think he said, look, we have to make some uncomfortable or unfavorable decisions. And, a couple you can kind of maybe get to grips with, and you can maybe, like the Christmas party, for example, it's not very nice for the staff members. No. But if they was paying it all, I don't know. There's some companies that do that, right? So maybe you can get a little bit past
most companies that I've been a part of have a Christmas do.
Yeah.
Like,
especially the size entity of Manchester fucking United.
Yeah.
Like, of all places, it's all right if Crawley aren't doing it. Or, you know what I mean? Like, clubs like that, I understand it. But it's not as if they're shy for cash, is it? I know that they're servicing some of the Glazers' debt still. I know they've got transfers looming over their head like motherfuckers. I get that. I understand it. But like you said, that the money that they're saving for the ticket, so the £66 thing, they said over a year, or over 12 months, it's going to be around £1 million, right?
Yeah.
That alone, 4 players I touched on in the afternoon this morning, on the news show this morning, sorry. Anthony, Casemiro, Maguire, and someone else, I think it was. That's their wage for a month.
Yeah.
Now, I get you can't just cut the contracts because then you'd have to pay them off, right? So it is hard to just cut a player off or just say, move them on.
But you can sell them. You can sell them.
You can sell it, but can you sell them?
Well, you might not be able to sell them for a good price or money where you make a profit, but you get the wages off the books, don't you? And that's a significant cost saving. Like, depending on how many years they got in the contract. I know Eriksen's his contract's up this year. Maguire's contract up this year, I believe.
Yeah.
Lindelof's as well. I believe he was getting quite a bit for basically a 4th choice centre back. So there's some money being saved. Anthony's probably got 2-3 years left of his deal. You could sell him for 20 million, get his wages off the books. They're already there. There's a couple of million a year saved, and you didn't have to raise ticket prices. And not even raising the ticket prices. The bit that annoys me is they got rid of the concessions for the old age pensioners. So the people who've been going for 50, 60, 70 years, and kids as well. How do you expect you want to grow a new generation of fans, and you want to more fans in the atmosphere in the stadium, and basically kids can't afford to go? Where's a kid getting 66 quid from? Not happening. You don't have a job. It's not happening. So that was the bit that pissed me off. They just got rid of that. That really fucked me off.
I remember Rory Jennings, who I don't like listening to. He annoys me, but he did make a good point about they did a bit of Chelsea where there's a seat for $5,000. How are you charging $5,000 for one seat? And these execs and these businesses just want to go watch a game or hospitality seating and all these kind of things because they know this is the disgusting thing about it. And this is, capitalism at its finest. They know people will pay it. Yeah. They know there's 150,000 people on the season ticket waiting list. So even if 10,000 loyal regular season ticket holders went, fuck this, we're out, I'm not doing it anymore, they'll get another 10,000.
Well, it's not even about the season ticket holders. The fans they're targeting, the tourist fans, so the fans who fly in from wherever.
Oh yeah, of course.
So they'll come in, they'll buy a ticket, but only when they buy a ticket, they go to the mega store, they'll buy a shirt, they'll buy merch, they'll buy everything. They'll spend a day in Old Trafford buying food, whatever. And I'm sure when they build on a new stadium and all the other stuff that's probably going to come around there, they'll spend money in there. That's who they're going after, because the season ticket fan or fans like us who just go to the games, we go there 10 minutes before kickoff, we watch the game and then we fuck off. That's it. We don't spend any money. We don't drop any money. They've already got our money in the pocket. So they don't care about us. They want to attract more of the tourist fans who are going to drop a shit ton of money. So per fan, they're worth a couple of £100. Per fan, we're worth at most 66 quid. That's it. So it's it's always going to be people like us who get it in the neck, because we're not going to be able to get tickets because we can't afford it. And not only we're not going to be able to afford it, the demand for them is going to be so high that it's just we're going to be priced out. So the hardcore fans, the fans who've been there through everything, who go to every game, not going to be able to go to games. So the atmosphere is going to die in the stadium as well. It's going to be shit.
Yeah, they're charging Champions League winning prices and Premier League winning prices, but mid-table matches is what we're receiving actually in the stadium. I mean, you was there for the Forest game. We are so far off it at the moment. Even if they do it, it's never acceptable anyway. But if they do it when they're winning Premier League titles and they're in Champions League finals consistently, and they're one of the best teams in the world, and they are year in, year out, then it's not understandable. But then it could be like, okay, look, what you're watching here is unbelievable. And that, I'm not saying that as an excuse, but it makes it even worse the fact that we're 13th in the Premier League, 14th in the Europa League, or whatever it is. We're not Real Madrid or Barcelona. We're paying for shit.
You've also looked at it as well, like the charging the fans who basically can't afford it, like the fans who are paying regular tickets. Like, if we had money, I'm sure we'd be getting boxes and stuff, wouldn't we? Be able to afford a box and stuff like that. Why don't you just ramp the price up on the boxes? Because that's the people with the money. They can afford to sort of pay more. Ramp the prices up on those. You'll make a shit ton, because they will still get those boxes because they can afford it. Why are you taxing the people who can't afford it? I don't understand. It just doesn't make sense. You piss everybody off, and the profit thing you get from it isn't that big anyway. It's just, I don't get it. I really don't understand it.
Well, it must have been enough for them to make the decision because otherwise it's just stupid, isn't it? Like
It's
it
£1
must be
million
like
though, in the grand scheme. That's nothing. That's fuck all.
yeah, I don't get it. It's bizarre to me. Not just that the numbers, like we touched on. I mean, there was it a fund for the disabled supporters
Yep.
trust or something
Got
that
rid
was
of that.
caught.
Yep.
And then obviously the charging OAPs and kids like 66 quid, and a load of other things like letting staff go, getting rid of like 250 staff members. It just seems like a very, I don't know, feels very old school. It does feel like Ebenezer Scrooge going in and going like, right, we have to cut all these. And all these people are sat here and staff members, and they're seeing the other side of it, and they're like, he's still here on £350,000 a week. He's still doing this. You've just done that with your manager, where it's cost you 20 million in a package to bring in Amrin and get rid of Eric Ten Hag, and you made that decision when you came in.
All his staff as well, all their
his
wages,
staff that have come in. You know, the money you spent on transfers over the summer, some say you might have overspent there.
He's gonna want players as well. So how much you drop in on players, like in the transfer window? Because he's obviously gonna want players. So how much is that? You spent what, 300 million? Ten Hag 250 million. So how much is Amrin gonna want? Do you know what I mean? Like that's another couple $100 million. It's just it's bizarre.
What I struggle with is the brief when Ineos were coming in was like, we're going to put the Manchester back in Manchester United. This is for the fans.
Football back in the club. Football first.
Football first. Yeah. That's what we say. Is it football first, though? Because everything I'm hearing at the minute, first and foremost, the football shit on the pitch. It's worse than it actually was. Obviously, Amrin's just come in, so that's going to take a bit of time. But when we're all sat here as a collective saying, can this get any worse? Can it get any worse? And it fucking has, because we're 13th. And we're 15 games in, more than a third of the way through the season.
The football on the pitch is fucking terrible. And then they just decide, oh, we're going to piss the fans off even more with these other decisions. And you just like, read the room, lads. Read the room. Like, this is not the time to announce this shit. Like, look at the state of what's going on in the pitch. This is not the time, lad.
Yeah, like I had my, I don't know what skeptics, whatever you want to call it, about him, but just simply because of Nice. Like, again, I spoke about this in the afternoon show. Dave Brailsford, what the fuck does he know about football? No, you know, I know they've been in at Nice and they've been at Lausanne. Mate, it's apples and oranges compared to Manchester United. Apples and oranges. And, you know, maybe there was a bit of a disagreement with Ashworth and them, and, you know, it weren't quite connected. And people have teething issues when I have no issue with that whatsoever. But putting all your faith into this guy to say, like, you're my right-hand man, I'm going to trust you to get these decisions right.
He said 10 out of 10 world-class sporting director, didn't he? That was the quote he said, like, about 4 months ago.
And obviously, it's not worked for whatever reason. But just on Dave Brett, and they do not convince me at the moment. I hope they get it right. I hope they turn it around. But my faith was here anyway. And now it's like, I don't know about you, Sam, but it's slowly fucking being drained.
I think when the ownership thing was happening, I think we had massive debates because how long did we talk about that for? A year and a bit? Like, it went on forever, didn't it? It went on forever. So we were having debates every week about it. But I was deadly against state ownership. Like, it wasn't about Qatar. It wasn't about, like, I don't want US ownership. I don't want UK ownership. I don't want any country, state. I don't want to be a vehicle for sports washing like Newcastle are, like City are. I don't want that for my club. So for me, it was the lesser of two evils when you looked at it on the surface. Sir Jim from Fellsworth near Oldham, he's a Manchester United fan who grew up in the area. He came from fuck all as well. So I thought he must know what it's like to be in our position. But at the same time, you've heard my sort of feelings on billionaires and rich people and that kind of stuff. And I'm deadly against sort of that idea of capitalism and stuff like that. And that worried me because I was like, this is going to happen where he starts grabbing money. We've seen how the Glazers are. They're just all about the cash. They don't give a shit about the club. And it's starting to come to fruition. But again, it was the lesser of two evils, Sir Jim, or like state ownership. And I didn't like either option. I hated both options. But that was the lesser of two evils. And it's not going well, is it? Like, it's just really not going well.
Had the Glazers have done what these have done, like the £66 raise,
they'd be lynched.
They'd be carnage.
Yeah.
They'd be utter fucking carnage. Yeah. But because there's a different face on it, now it's like, oh, well, you know, it's bad and, you know, we'll make a stance. And there was a protest, and fair play to people who protested as well.
There was tons of tickets available for Nottingham Forest, by the way. There was loads because of this ticket thing that's happened. Everybody's just gone, fuck it, I'm not paying 66 quid to watch us fucking lose to Nottingham Forest. The only reason I went is because our friend has a season ticket and he was just like, I'm not going. Do you want these two? And just basically gave it us. I'm not paying 66 quid to watch us get battered by Forest. I'm not doing it. Like, it's just not happening.
Yeah. And, if there's a bit of fight on the pitch, it's slightly different in it. But, I mean, some of the mistakes you see, and that's a different thing. That's the football on the pitch. I want to go to the comments because there's quite a few people who have put their opinions in the chat, so I want to get into them. Leo the Lion saying, with the United chant, thank you very much for that. David Pearson saying, the Grinch, someone really needs to do a meme of Sir Jim as the Grinch. Great minds think alike, David Pearson. I did actually try doing it on the graphic, but it just didn't work.
I bet it's already been done. Somebody will have done it online.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah. James McGrogan saying, Sam hit the nail on the head. How much of Ineos kept from us already? And how many times have we been told half a story regarding different things? Andy saying, I did say that Ineos, I wasn't convinced on, just Ten Hag staying, how much it cost us, especially with the cuts. Christmas party, ticket prices, it looks like the club and fans are paying for them. I think Amarin wanted another season with Sporting, which is why Baldy stayed on. Tim99 saying they call us legacy supporters. Superfly, it's a cover-up if you ask me, to distract us from something else. Andy Williams with a nickname, Sir Jism, talking waffle about 3%. He's acting like businessman. Won't be long before he's at OT and hears what he needs to hear. A lot of people upset, and rightfully so. I get it. A fool named Huggy says the best in class was sounded out a lot.
Yep.
Yeah. Sam's chocolate mug always makes me smile. There it is.
Yes, definitely.
With a Chelsea season ticket. Don't even want to pay for Sky to watch us get battered.
I mean, it's not even on Sky half the time. So it's like, that's another thing that I fucking hate. So you want to pay 60 quid a month for Sky, and half the time United's game's not even on there. So what's the point? Like, fucking pointless.
They have a massive, massive job on their hands at the moment. I mean, there was so much positivity, weren't they, over the summer? Yeah. Oh, look at who the guys to bring. Dan Ashworth, great reputation. Omar, what he's done at City. Loads of smiles. The players, Lenny Yoro, such a talented youngster. All these guys. This is going to be amazing. And reality is fucking really bit back on it.
Yeah.
To say that we would have been, oh no, you're going to be 13th. Ashworth will gone. Ten Hag would be gone. If you would have said that to us at the start of the season, the majority of people were like, shut the fuck up. You're talking shit. I can't believe where we're at in a minute. Genuinely.
You carry on talking. Let me sort my light up.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned Dan Ashworth there, and I want to talk about the new, well, not the new sporting director. Jesus Christ, not been appointed yet. But there has been some reports that are surfacing. So if United decide to bring in a new sporting director to replace Dan Ashworth, several sources say PSG's Luís Campos will be top of their list. They would face fierce competition from Arsenal for him. That's from Pete Hall, 86. Don't know the credibility, I have to be honest, but it's a news report, so we report it. One, I don't think they'll move that quickly, will they? Surely. I mean, I'm sure they'll have a contingency plan if they do want to bring someone. But I always felt like they'd just promote someone from within and share.
Well, Jason Wilcox has done that job before, hasn't he? At Southampton, he was director, sporting director there, so they could well just promote him and sort of broaden his sort of area that he works in. I think they wanted originally, didn't they? I read the Athletic article. They were targeting Michael Edwards originally in the summer, and obviously he ended up going back to Liverpool. We saw Paul Mitchell's name chucked in the hat. Obviously, he's at Newcastle now. Who was the other guy that they sort of chucked in? I can't remember his name. The shame you can't go get the sporting guy who's just gone to City. Could just bring him in with Amrin, but that would have been nice. But yeah, I don't expect to see anybody in before the end of the year. Like, I think it's going to take a while, and I think for the January window, you'll probably see like Wilcox and Barada handle it if there are any dealings.
It was funny because Laurie and that on the Talk of the Devils was speaking and saying, like, we keep doing this like family branch tree and keep having to change it every week because we don't know who's going to be in what position. The only ones you really know is Brailsford, Ratcliffe, Jean-Claude Blanc, like the main ones I'm talking about, Barada, and then like people are chopping and changing all the time. But like the United We Stand article that you was talking about, Sam, in that, so Jim Ratcliffe was speaking about, he was saying, I don't make the decisions, which I was like, okay. But I like to feel comfortable that we're making the correct decisions. I do get involved in most of the big decisions, but ultimately so that I can understand the rationale behind them. Is that not, it just says two things that are totally opposite there. I don't make the decisions. I do get involved in most of the big decisions. How the fuck does that work?
We were led to believe, weren't we, that he was going to hire people so he could just be like, you guys make decisions, like, and I'll just sort of like think. But it seems like, from what like the stuff I've read from the Athletic on the Amorim deal, he met with him personally before Omar Barada did, when they played Fenerbahce. United played Fenerbahce. So there was, is it Fenerbahce or Galatasaray? Who did we play?
Fenerbahce.
Yeah. So there's that happens. So that makes me to believe he's more involved than he's claiming. The Ashworth thing, apparently he was against him because he wanted to get rid of Ten Hag in the summer, and Ashworth was the one who was sort of pushing for him to stay, wasn't he? Who then backed him with the transfers that he ended up with, like De Ligt, Mazraoui, that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's probably why Ashworth has got the chop, because he's gone against Radcliffe on all these decisions. And then Radcliffe has basically gone, it's not worked, got rid of him, and now he's probably like saying, I'll do this myself. I want to go get the manager I want to get, and that kind of stuff. So these rich guys, they always have to have control of things. They can't not get involved. Like, it's very rare that a guy who has that amount of power and that amount of money isn't involved in some way. Like, it's very rare that happens. So yeah, we should have seen it coming, really.
Yeah, it feels like he's just had enough in it. It's like, you know what, they wanted to keep him on. I think the specifics it was talking about was the sort of recruitment, keeping Eric Ten Hag or letting him go was kind of the big decider between both. That it was, you know, I think Omar Barada wanted to go in a different direction. Dan Ashworth wanted to stick with him, and there was a couple of others who was like, right, we'll stick with him. And now apparently he's fuming because we've gone down the line, and now we're doing a U-turn again and paying out a load of money. So Ashworth, I think that was like the biggest point of why he ended up going. But yeah, but I mean, we're coming up to nearly a year since their takeover. I think, what was it? Christmas Eve, right? When it happened. Yeah. So nearly a year since it's happened. With everything we've just spoken about, where we are in the league table, it's just not a good look. It's really, really not a good look. And for everyone who's asking about the Grinch, there you go. You nearly turned into the Grinch then.
I've tried. My fucking color correction has gone mental.
Completely mental. Yeah.
I'm trying to.
There he is. Take it in, Mr. Ratcliffe. This Christmas. It's been a year since he's taken over at Christmas Eve. We're nearly back at Christmas Eve again, and there he is. So
and we're not even slightly better. Not even slightly.
No. I'm going to leave that on the screen, actually, because I think it's deserved. Right, back to the comments. Has Sir Jim Ratcliffe got a younger brother called Kay? James McGoggin, don't even want to pay for Sky to watch us. I already read that out. 9 likes, 16 people watching. Yeah, do smash the like of the video for us, guys, if you can. Sam's having an absolute rave there above
What is going on here? This is ridiculous.
Lights. It's all going off. Andy's saying, let's see how serious they are in the summer, because I don't care if a player is here for a month or 10 years. Get them gone. I think Rio made a great point about that, saying, I hope they're as ruthless with the fucking players.
Yeah.
I genuinely hope they are, because if they start keeping on players like Anthony and these people who are just not pulling the weight at all, there's going to be even more scrutiny, in my opinion. Nick, why are you sitting so close to the corner flag? I just don't know. Just a picture I had. I'm not sure. In my opinion, in the summer, we need to sell Rashford, Højlund, Dalot, Mount, Casemiro, Victor Shaw, Xerxes. Never happening. Not that many players.
Who the fuck is buying any of those? Yeah. Who's buying them?
Let's discuss the transfer window, because it was on the agenda anyway. And it was kind of the last thing I wanted to talk about. So there's a couple of players coming out from CF Bayern that are linking us with. Again, call it contracts, call it agent talk.
Is it not Florian Plettenberg? Like, he's been
not this time, no. You know what? Since I've done that bingo thing, I've not seen a player come out of it. I'm not saying he's watched my thing, but since I've done it, I've not seen him link us with a player. So maybe he's calmed down a little bit. He's gone away for Christmas.
I hope so.
This time it's Christian Falk. So Manchester United are interested in Bayern Munich's Konrad Laimer. This was a player that we've been linked with previously when Ralf Rangnick was here. And Alphonso Davies' camp have told Bayern Munich that the player has been approached by Manchester United and Real Madrid. Any of those two players you would take, Sam?
I like Alphonso Davies. I think he's a very, very good player. I think he'd be fantastic in the left wing back slot. I think that would be an instant upgrade on Shaw or Malacia. I'd love that. His wages may be an issue. That might be a problem. That would be the thing that worries me. Because we don't need more players on like 350k a week. That's not what we need at United. So that would worry me. Konrad Laimer, decent player, but is he world class? Is he going to absolutely revolutionize that midfield? I wouldn't say so. Like, good player, but yeah, I think they seem really obvious names, and they see like names that obviously Bayern are trying to shift. Konrad Laimer, and obviously Alphonso Davies having contract issues, so this could be used to get a better deal from Bayern. Speaking to United, we've seen that happen before with Sergio Ramos at Madrid, so we've seen this happen before. So yeah, I think we need to do better scouting and sort of look and find these, like, what me and Chivy have been saying for ages, find these like gems like in different like South America and stuff like that. We need to find these players, like get Casido before he goes to Brighton, like that kind of thing. That's what we need to go do. I think these obvious big names is not the right way to go.
Konrad Laimer, I see coming in more as a utility kind of player, someone who could play across the board. Because obviously I know he could play at right back, he could play in midfield. And I have to admit I haven't watched him much in the German league, but I have watched him quite a bit for Austria. It's Austria, isn't it?
Yeah,
sure, it's Austria he plays for.
Yeah, he's not German.
And he's looked really, really good. Again, the translation over to the Premier League, I'm not entirely sure. I'm also not sure if it's a position we're desperate for, to be honest with you. I don't think he'd be more of a wing back, you know what I mean? So I don't know how that kind of dynamic would fit in. Alphonso Davies, as you already know, I'm more convinced on that left wing back. I think left wing back's one of the biggest priorities for us going into the summer. And picking up someone like, if they can do that deal, I think that would be really impressive, similar to Lenny Yoro's deal. And how we made that happen, I don't know, but we got that deal over the line. So if we can do a similar thing, he is someone, a great age profile. The wages could be a stumbling block, but in terms of a player at wing back, the pace he's got, the physicality on the ball. I remember, I think it was Champions League. I can't remember who was playing. It might actually be Real Madrid. I think it was on a right foot finish, cut in a top corner on his weak foot. Incredible.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a fan of that, but I don't know how much he's going to be asking for. If he's got a year left, usually typically they're asking for what, 300, 250s. Are Ineos going to be giving out those kind of wages?
No, how old is he? 26?
Yeah, something around that. Something around. Just going into his prime, I'd probably say.
So obviously he's going to want top dollar, but I don't think he can be chucking around these 300k contracts anymore. Like, I just don't think it's a great idea. We've seen what happens with Jadon Sancho, seen what happens with people like that. I just don't think it's a good idea. Bring him in on a regular wage and then just set it up like bonuses. You win games, you get bonus. If you score, assist, clean sheet, whatever, just set these fucking bonuses in the contract, and then that incentivizes people to play well, rather than just going, no matter what, no matter how shit you are, no matter how good you are, or not good you are, you're going to get 300k. And then just go, oh, great, then I don't have to really try or do anything. Like, I think it should be more incentivized, especially at United.
So currently at Bayern Munich is on 216,000 euros a week, so which equates to about £180,000 a week. If he moves, he's going to want more than that. So you're at least talking 250s to bring someone in. I just don't know, like you say. I don't know if they do that. I have no idea. I'd struggle with that if they brought him in, because I like Mason Mount, but his wages when he came in,
stupid.
Fucking hell.
Stupid.
Like more than 250,000 straight off the bat.
And the fact that we paid 60 million for a guy in the last year of his contract.
Yeah. It's
bad business all around. And then
difficult.
Obviously the injuries are not his fault, but that has just made the deal even worse, hasn't it? You've overpaid for him. You've given the number 7 shirt and you've given massive wages and he's barely kicked a ball for us. Like, that's just a terrible fucking transfer all around, isn't it?
I think John makes a great point. He's saying it'd be mad to come to us if Real want him. I get that, and I did use the Lenny Yoro thing as like the comparison, but we're even worse off when we signed Lenny Yoro.
Yeah.
Like, how do you convince someone to say, right, leave Bayern Munich, don't go to Real Madrid,
Don't play in the Champions League. Don't probably challenge for La Liga. Don't play with Vinicius and Mbappe and Jude Bellingham. Come play with fucking Anthony and Xerxes at United, and maybe try and qualify for Europa Conference League. How about that?
It's not, you can't really convince him, so the money would have to do the talking in that sense. So it's just, either way, I'm not a fan of. So we'll see. One thing I'll definitely say is January business ain't happening. Nothing's going to happen in there. So you can put that aside. I'd be extremely surprised if we paid a lot of money.
A loan, maybe. Loan, maybe. Maybe we see like a Region type left back deal or something like that. Maybe we see that. I think that'd be probably the extent of it. I don't think we buy anybody. I don't see it.
But then even the noise that you're hearing coming out about the summer, like it feels like the summer's not going to be as kind of expansive.
Well, you've got Eriksen will be out of contracts. Harry Maguire will be out of contracts. So there's 2 lots of Lindelof will be out of contracts. There's 3 lots of wages off the books potentially, which might free things up a little bit. I'm hoping they'll probably shift Casemiro and Anthony as well. There's another bunch of wages off the books, so maybe that free things up a little bit. I know James and the Muppeteers obviously said the wages off the books has a big effect on sort of PSR and stuff like that.
Don't worry, everyone, because the Christmas party has been cancelled, so they've saved, I don't know, 600 quid or something for the summer. So the summer budget is bloated. We'll have plenty of money.
They were normally going to buy all the sausage rolls and the vol-au-vents and stuff, but you've saved yourself a trip to Iceland and you saved yourself like 20 quid on that, so that'll go straight into the pocket, I'm sure.
Here he is, Sir Jim, cancelling Christmas. No more Christmas parties. All tickets above £66. Disabled section funding cut. Everything else cut.
Reckon they'll announce, Johnny Evans has signed a new contract, so that's your new centre-back.
Yeah.
That'll be okay.
Luke Shaw's back from injury. Here's your new signing. You don't need a left back. Yeah. Again. Back for 5 days. That's your new signing. No worries, lads. Don't worry about it. My God. Honestly, being a Man United fan is one of the most difficult things ever. And I'm sure everyone in the chat will appreciate that. It really is. It's such a fucking... These past, I don't know what it's been now, 10... 11, 12 years, reaching 12 years since Fergie retired, and we're even worse off now, having had 7 managers and £2 billion spent. It's madness, isn't it? Utter madness. I don't get it.
See, I really feel for Ruben Amorim, man. Like, if I was him and I had to, say I was a United fan, put that aside. If I looked at this job, I'd be running. I'd be like, not a fucking chance am I coming to do this job. Not a chance. Difficult. Like, it's that's difficult. Like, obviously I'm a fan, so I would love it, but like if I wasn't a fan, I'd just be like, nah, I'm not even touching that with a barge pole.
A lot of them see it as like a massive challenge in it.
Yeah.
So it's almost like an ego kind of thing, saying all these managers have failed. I'll be the one to get it right. I do like Amorim. Even in the Forest game, I didn't think the Forest game was great, but I still liked some things that I saw in there. And you can start to see a style that you can identify with. What can you do with as a coach if players are making those mistakes? The Sandro and Onana, that was absolutely fucking criminal. Criminal what they done.
And the fact that he's got arguably one of the best left backs in Europe in his team, but cannot stay fit for love nor money. No. Is ridiculous. Like, he's like, oh, you've got one of the best left backs ever. Oh, cool. Who is it? Luke Shaw. He's not playing. And he's just like, and then your best players are not stepping up to the plate. Like, people, and it's just, I think this clear out that I said last year, like, I want Rashford gone, I want Shaw gone, I want a bunch of people gone. It has to happen, doesn't it, under Amorim? Like, it has to happen. You have to get rid of some of these guys who are just not good enough for this club. Has to happen. I feel
like we say that every year.
I know, but they never do it, do they? They always keep hold of them. Like, they always keep hold of Rashford. They always keep hold of Shaw because everybody thinks next season is going to be the season Rashford shows up and he doesn't. Next season is going to be the season where Luke Shaw is fit and he isn't. It just goes on forever. Anthony Martial, how long did we hang on to that dream that Anthony Martial was going to come
9
good?
9 years. He was
fucking ridiculous. He should have gone. Like, this is the shit that needs to change, man. We need like 2-3 seasons. If you're not doing it, you're fucking done. Gone.
Yeah. Well, what a lovely place to leave it, I think. He stole our heart. He stole Christmas. and he's stealing the joy out of United at the minute. Not just Ratcliffe, but a lot of the players as well need to be accountable for themselves. We will have the preview for Victoria Pleasant on. Obviously, we play them on Thursday, but we'll have the preview tomorrow. Apart from that, stay locked in. Loads of stuff ongoing on socials, so follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. We are getting closer than ever to 10K. So I can't wait to hit that kind of milestone. That'll be huge for the channel, and that's because every single one of you are in the chat at the minute, and all the lads who have contributed to the channel as well.
We're gonna try and do, when we get to 10K, we're gonna get every single person who's on the channel on the same stream. We're gonna try and do that and have a little celebration. Play some clips from thingies past. We were sharing some clips in the group chat the other day, and some of the things are fucking hilarious. So if you haven't seen them before, you will enjoy it. So please do share it to everybody so we can get to that 10K and we can celebrate it the right way, because United are not going to give us anything to fucking celebrate about.
No, so we might as well make our own celebrations. And our Christmas party definitely being cancelled. So fuck you, Ratcliffe. Anyway, right, we'll leave it at that, guys. Thank you very much for watching and tuning in and supporting and liking and all that good stuff, as you always do. Yeah, unless anything breaks, we're back tomorrow at 12 o'clock with the afternoon show. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. See you in a bit.